Hi, welcome to the fourth part of the course How to Boost Your Creativity. I'm Dr. Ayla Esen. So this is our outline for the fourth part. As you know, in the third part we started talking about different creativity techniques, and in this part we will move on with two more techniques, which are brainstorming and reverse brainstorming. Before we start our techniques, I would like to remind you once again of this quote by Pablo Picasso. So he says that every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. The reason for why I'm continuously sharing this quote with you in this course is that we should be aware that creativity can be learned. So through applying the techniques and tools that we cover in this course, you may actually increase your creativity skills and build new skills for you to come up with new product and service ideas. So therefore, after you hear these techniques from me in these courses, just spend 10-15 minutes to solve a certain problem in your life or to answer a specific question in your daily routine using any of these techniques. So this will be helpful for you both in your professional as well as your personal lives. So let's start with the brainstorming technique. I'm sure you have heard of this term a lot. It's a really widely utilized tool to develop new ideas. And brainstorming is actually a group creativity technique by which efforts are made to find a conclusion for a specific problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously contributed by its members. So there are some key words here that I should highlight in this definition. The first one is that this is a creativity technique. So you have it has some certain rules, and participants who are in a brainstorming session should be able to utilize and apply these rules as strictly as possible. So there should be a problem in a brainstorming session. Our next keyword is the problem. And another key term that we should highlight is spontaneously. So we have to list ideas spontaneously as it pops up in our minds in a brainstorming session, very dynamically, in a very fast fashion. So we should have around 12 to 15 people in a brainstorming session. If it's too much, then the list that we have is going to be too long, or if we have time limitations, not everybody can speak up their ideas. So we need to have the ideal number of participants in order to perform this technique ideally and come up with the optimal results. So in a brainstorming session, there should be a certain area dedicated to the session, like a classroom, a meeting room, so that none of the participants are disturbed by outside circumstances, and no cell phones allowed. So their minds should be totally dedicated to the session. And there should be a moderator or a facilitator who will run the brainstorming session, who will let people speak in terms or whenever they raise a hand. And this facilitator should start by asking a specific question related to the purpose of the session, like how do I solve or prevent this problem? Or how do I achieve these results? So you should clearly present the problem of why the brainstorming session is being held. So every participant in the session has to know the exact purpose of the brainstorming. The facilitator should also let every participant speak out fast responses. So do not, if you're going to say out your idea in a brainstorming session, just use 1 or 2 sentences to present it. Do not take long minutes, long time to present your ideas. Just be very fast, be very dynamic. Just say it in 1 or 2 sentences and leave the floor to the other participants. These responses have to be written down. Maybe you should also have a note taker to write these down, or the facilitator can at the same time write these on a flip chart, on a board, or somebody can write them down on the computer and reflect these on the screen through a projector, so that everybody can see this list increasing and increasing as participants raise their hands and speak up their ideas. A very important rule in the brainstorming section is that while you are listing these different ideas fastly, there is no time for judging or criticizing or evaluating what is written down on this board, okay? So whenever somebody comes up with an idea, it's written down, but nobody is allowed to criticize or evaluate it during the brainstorming. You will have time to evaluate after the brainstorming session. So in order not to cut the dynamism of this section, no criticism or no judgment is allowed during idea generation phase. You have to try to list as many ideas as possible, but after no more new ideas are voiced, you have to end the storming session. So whenever you reach a saturation point, meaning that you are not receiving any more ideas, and some of the ideas are being repeatedly told by the participants, it means that you have reached a saturation point, and now it's time to end the storming session. And you have a list of different ideas. An ideal brainstorming session with around 15 participants should last around 40 minutes. So spend at least half an hour or 40 minutes on the storming session. And after the storming session, then you can spend time on discussing the viability of these ideas listed. Maybe you may choose to group these ideas in terms of their similarities and then discuss on these different groups of new ideas. Or you can just go over them one by one. So it's up to the group to decide how to evaluate, how to discuss the viability or the originality or the usefulness of these ideas. The second technique that we will learn in this part of the course is reverse brainstorming. It's actually similar to brainstorming. However, the questions that you ask are completely different. Reverse brainstorming helps you to solve problems by combining brainstorming and reversal techniques. So it's like a brainstorming session, but it's the other way around. The way you ask your questions is totally reversed. And by combining these two techniques, you can extend your use of brainstorming to draw out even more creative ideas. So reverse brainstorming gives you more space to be creative, actually. Now we will see why. Reverse brainstorming can be a little bit more creative than the regular brainstorming because of the questions that you ask at the beginning of the session. So we have reverse questions here. Remember, in the brainstorming session, the facilitator asked the group the question, how do I solve or prevent this problem? But in reverse brainstorming, you have to ask, how could I possibly cause the problem? Okay, this is a totally different and totally interesting question actually. And instead of asking, how do I achieve these results? You ask the question, you reverse it and ask, how could I possibly achieve the opposite effect? So, for instance, you want to increase or you want to improve customer satisfaction in your company. There's a problem of low satisfaction and you want to solve this problem through a reverse brainstorming session. So since your problem is low customer satisfaction, you should ask the question, how can I make my customers less satisfied? Okay, so you don't want to make them happy, you don't want to make them satisfied. The question that you should ask is, how can I make them less satisfied with my products? Then you start writing less quality or worse customer service, things like that. Then you will actually start seeing what to do. So the second type of question that you can ask is, how could I possibly achieve the opposite effect? So it's similar. How can I achieve lower customer satisfaction? Or how can I achieve lower quality? Or how can I be a hated brand? Because normally every company wants to have a brand which is loved by its customers. So the question that you should ask in a reverse brainstorming session is, how can I have a hated brand? What can I do to have a hated brand? Then you start listing the ideas that comes to your mind. So here are the steps of reverse brainstorming. First, you clearly identify your problem or challenge and write it down. Then you turn that problem around and you reverse the problem or the challenge by asking, how could I possibly cause the problem? Or how could I possibly achieve the opposite effects? Then you start brainstorming on this reverse problem to generate reverse solution ideas. And again, just like in a brainstorming session, you write down every idea, allow the brainstorm ideas to flow freely without criticism, without judgment. It should be, again, a very fast session. Do not reject anything at the storming stage. Then the fifth stage is to find solutions. Once you have brainstormed all the ideas to solve the reverse problem, now start reversing these ideas back into solution ideas for the original problem or challenge. And select the top solutions, the best solutions. You have to evaluate these solution ideas and see, can you see a potential solution here then? If yes, then you're lucky. So this is the end of part 4. And in our final part, in part 5, we are going to discuss Nesta Foundation's Fast Idea Generator tool. Thank you for your participation, and I'm hoping to see you in the final part of this course.